This is a Lego brick, a simple yet exceedingly complicated interlocking structure capable of precise connections and limitless combinations. In other words, it's the perfect material to make puzzles out of, and I'm gonna build 30 puzzles, each one getting a little bit harder as we go. So let the fun begin. Starting out small, this first puzzle is introduced to most baby humans by the age of 3 to 6 months, but man is it still satisfying to place in matching shapes all these years later. Or I suppose you could be a total rebel and just place them all in the square because they always fit through the square. Okay, another thing kids love are buttons, and I built one using this springy pipe piece. And the reason this is a puzzle is because it's a button, and anytime you push a button, you kind of expect something to happen. But that's just it. This isn't connected to anything, so nothing's gonna... Another really great puzzle I loved as a kid were those mazes on the back of kids' menus at restaurants. Oh yeah, we got real classy. And you can recreate a maze with a Lego base plate and a bunch of bricks that you design in your own way. And if you've ever drawn a maze before, you know that making it is actually harder than solving it most of the time. So to make it harder to solve, let's place a ball at the beginning and use gravity to navigate it all the way to the end. Let's go! And it even makes a cool sound when it rolls on the sides. It's kind of satisfying. When I wasn't playing with Lego as a kid, I really enjoyed building blocks, and Jenga blocks were the best building blocks. But sometimes when we played Jenga, I was always amazed when the entire tower would balance on just a single block on the bottom. If you don't have Jenga blocks, just build them with Lego. This actually works so well. Okay, I looked it up and Jenga is actually not a puzzle like I thought it was. It's technically a game of physical and mental skill. And I'll tell you what's absolutely mental. Magic tricks. A lot of magic tricks though are just illusions, like the classic Lego through your hand, Lego through your minifigure, or the disappearing minifigure. Wait, that actually worked? Man, I tried that so many times. Let's go. We can also make figures reappear out of thin air by building this magic box, and as you can see, there's nothing in it, but when I close it up and snap my fingers, then boom.
Hello there.
It's pretty obvious that the minifigure is teleporting using a portal, so let me explain by showing you this pocket portal I made. You see, I can push this axle all the way through, but you won't even see it because it's going through a portal leading right to the other side. But portals don't explain everything, because this next one is mind-boggling. By placing this rod into this magic box, I can split it apart. But wait, did it really split apart? You can actually pull it back out and it's still in one piece. Now let's turn this paper into money. If only it were that easy. And now I'll actually show you how to do these tricks. For the pocket portal, I used a rubber band on the back so that when it's pushed, the other axle can make an appearance on the other side, making it look like it teleported. For the money transformation, this is a simple slider technique. And when you cover it with your thumb, you change the slider to turn it into money. And for the splitting the rod trick, building the contraption is definitely the hardest part. You can take out this middle section and see the false stick on the right and the gap that shows the split. Now let's go back to that money and get it put into a safe. I should warn you though, this is a very fragile, finicky safe that I wouldn't recommend storing anything valuable in. But it does allow you to open it up when the 1x1 tile is aligned with the floor studs. Or I suppose you could just go around to the back and swipe it all up. Which is why I made another safe with a key this time. But if you use the wrong key, the safe won't open up. Only when you use the right key will the lever be pushed up and out of the way for the drawer to slide out. And this is done using a cheese slope so that the tile pushes up on it and it releases the lock, which means that gravity is really the only thing keeping this one locked. And that's why I decided to defy gravity by freezing this moment of time of pouring milk into a bowl of cereal. And actually, we're gonna need to move the cereal for the next gravity-defying build. And it's 6 nails. Sadly though, I've never been able to do this in my entire life, so I had to try this with Lego. By using 6 of these axles and a gear on each of them, you can assemble them just like this and supposedly pick it up in the middle and balance it on this brick. That's crazy. I am so fulfilled right now. And we're already halfway through, so make sure you hit the like button.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Now, this next one is also something that you'd see at like a kid's science museum because it's just so mesmerizing and cool. Using 6 of your longest Technic beams, place them on an axle like this, and then let the physics of Sir Isaac Newton do its thing.
Wow.
This is so cool. I'd imagine that if you had even longer beams, you could make this go on forever. Since we're experimenting with physics, let's try out this ball puzzle. You have a ball on each side, and when you try to roll it up the ramp, both of them tend to go in the same place. So how do we get both balls on the top of either side? Well, for this one, you need to know about centripetal, something about spinning. And you can pretty much do the same thing with different shapes, but it's the same concept. Now let's use this same X piece and create something that's so satisfying you might just have to go build one for yourself. This is what I like to call close call. And by connecting these three simple pieces and placing them in this guided chamber, you will have just created the most satisfying near collision infinite fidget toy. As much as I'd like to do that forever, there is another fidget puzzle that I want to try to build, and it's gonna require a lot of these 180 hinge plates. I needed the parts. I give to you the infinity stone, the infinity cube. It literally goes on forever, so there's no solving it, but man is it fun.
Done.
The next one is also oddly satisfying, and it's really cute until you pinch your finger. So I tried pinching it back, and to my surprise, I had just invented a pocket poker capable of springing into action at a moment's notice. I added these little rubber gripper attachments, and now I can grab things from slightly farther away. This probably puts a lot of strain on the bricks though, so do this at your own risk. This next one is very dangerous, and by dangerous, I mean addictive. It's the butterfly knife, and apart from flinging this thing around at great speed, the best part is I didn't just slice my hand open 37 times. I would classify this as more of a fidget toy.
That's why I used a really durable color.
I also learned that you can do this. It's a clapper. But save your applause for this next one, because I'm about to teach you a life hack. Pretend this is chocolate. And now you know how Feastable chocolate has that little shareable bit on the bottom? Here's how you can create your own shareable bit without anyone noticing. I've seen this over and over again, but until I tried it with Lego, I just didn't understand. So now I'm gonna do this all the time. It's just the way that angles have a way of altering our space consciousness. And that's why this puzzle is the perfect follow-up. Because you need to fit all of these angled wedge plates into the square, but they just don't seem to fit. That is until you put them in the weirdest possible direction and realize that there's just enough space for the remaining two. It actually looks really nice, like modern artwork. And up next is a puzzle I pulled straight out of the National Gallery of Art. Just kidding, this is X. No, not the new Twitter. The goal is to free the X from the square, and although it appears to be locked in place, there's just enough room to loosen the two beams and pull one of them out. Then you can reassemble and the X is free. This is X 2.0, and you won't be able to solve this in the same way. But some very observant people may notice a rattling sound, and that's because there's something inside holding it in place. So give it a spin. This time, two pins were holding it into place, and only when they're both fully retracted can you free the blue piece. This next one is one of my favorite puzzles because it looks like the bricks are passing through one another and interlocking permanently. But when you take it apart, it just looks like three letters that spell out, also known as 2CO, like 3PO, but with just two C's. To solve this one, put the C through the O, then slide it to the side and rotate it so that you can fit the other C through the O, then slide them back together in the center. This takes a bit of fidgeting, but it's a perfect fit with the thickness of a Lego brick, plate, and tile. This next one is also a perfect fit, but not in the way you might expect. The goal is to fit all 6 of these T-shapes into the box, but only 4 of them seem to fit, and putting them in a different way still doesn't work. You can play with this for a while and you probably won't figure it out, but the only correct way to do this is by placing in one. I mean, a baby could do this part, but then the next 2 you have to place in vertically and slide them to the sides. Then you can place in the last 3 just like this, and it fills up the box to the T. Now this is one of those escape room loading screen puzzles where you have to separate the puzzle from this lock, but the lock gets stuck on the obstacle. But if you jump through the obstacle's gap and you change direction, then you can slide the lock all the way around and out to the other end. This next build is genius. Every teenager needs one of these to help them clean their room because you can fill this drawer with tons of crap and it just eats it, giving you endless storage for all your left socks, pocket change, and random homework assignments. But unfortunately, there is a storage limit because we're just dropping it through a hole in the bottom of the drawer. And even though it's hard to take out, it's still kind of fun to drop stuff in there.
Don't leave me here!
And for this last one, I call it the paint machine because we have a white stud, but when we place it inside the box, we can paint it yellow, or we can even paint it blue. And the way this works is with another sliding mechanism, but this time there's a shelf inside the box that pushes it from side to side. And there we have it, 30 mind-blowing Lego puzzles that you can create with your own pieces to your heart's content.
Shoot.
And out of all of these, here are my favorites. In third place, with remarkable potential to ease stress and break up monotony, the Close Call. This one is just so cool. In second place, I gotta keep the 2CO because this is just iconic and it's the perfect little puzzle to challenge your friends with. And in first, you guessed it, the Infinity Cube. This thing is staying on my desk forever, but let me know which one was your favorite. Make sure to like the video, and by all means, let me know which puzzles I missed and I'll do a part 2.